deal. Go ahead and drop where you're tuning in from in the comments. If you're catching this on replay, go ahead and comment #replay so we can get back to you with any questions that you have and share some love for attending. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, welcome. I am Tegan Bartos, founder and managing director of Jolt Your Career. It's a job search consulting firm that helps ambitious professionals just like yourself advance, own, or pivot in your career. As people are joining, I always like to kick things off by celebrating some client wins. And so today I want to give a massive shout out to the 247 people who joined LinkedIn Before Lunch Live, and a special kudos to Network After Work for setting that up. This is a special reminder that sometimes wins aren't landing that job or a major win. Sometimes it's just taking steps to get that much closer to where you want to be in life. Which brings me to today's very special guest, founder of Share the Vibes, Devin Jeninks. So let me go ahead and bring him up. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Tegan, how's it going?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got some people tuning in that are unfamiliar faces. So your crew is showing up in full force today. I love that.
Nice.
All right, so we're here today to talk about side hustles in a corporate world. What does it look like to be an entrepreneur and still have a full-time job? And with me working with job seekers every day, I want to tell you all a little secret. Every single executive that I work with has multiple streams of income. And so for how many people will show up and say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that," or "I don't want to broadcast that." And it could be potentially stifling some of your revenue streams because you kind of want to keep it a secret that you're doing it. If everything's on the up and up, right? Like if as long as you're not, infringing on some type of non-compete or something crazy like that. If it's just doing something that you're passionate about, your organization shouldn't matter. So Devin, go ahead and explain to me, because you started your business relatively recently. And did you have any of those fears? How did your organization respond to it? And how do you juggle things?
Yeah, it's a good question. For those who aren't familiar, I'm Devin Jenkins, founder of Share the Vibes LLC, and by day, I'm a staff technical product manager at GE Healthcare and supply chain analytics.
So he's
I've
real,
been
real smart.
I've been with GE about 7 years now, and I've seen people who have started side opportunities and for whatever reason felt like they didn't have the support they needed in the company, or they were fearful that they wouldn't have that support if they broadcasted it, like you said. I think I was blessed to be part of a good, solid, supportive team coming off of the leadership program that I did. Some people who may even have some other ventures of their own. But I think for me personally, my personality is a little bit different. I got to a point maybe after a few years where I decided I'm just going to be me. Like I'm going to be me. Take it or leave it. If it doesn't work, it probably means I'm not meant to be here. So I had a few conversations, and people have told me, it probably makes sense just to declare it on like a potential conflict of interest form, which I probably should go do that. Like I'm doing music, technology, connecting people. It's not really a conflict of interest with a multi-billion-dollar healthcare, medical device company. So I don't have too many concerns there. But for me, I think the main thing is making sure I'm delivering on what I'm supposed to deliver at work. And if I'm
Yeah.
doing that, then what I'm doing outside of those, outside of that, it really doesn't matter. So I don't apologize for what I do. And actually, one of my first playlist curation clients after I launched my website was my former executive. He wanted like a brass band jazz playlist. So that hasn't
Nice.
really been an issue as far as the conflict of interest goes for me personally. But if it does become one, I'm more than willing to have the conversation of what that looks like because it's something that I believe in. But as far as kind of balancing it all, I was just telling Tegan before we joined in, the life has been a little crazy over the last few months. So I had a wedding July 16th. Thank you. I have two girls, a 4-year-old and 2-year-old. So if you're a parent, you know what comes with that. And we were supposed to be moving to our new house down here in Charlotte in August, and it's been a series of delays and challenges. So we had like a temporary living situation with our friends for the last month or so, and we finally moved into our house literally 2 weeks ago. So, and then a week later, we had to go to Birmingham for homecoming and a wedding. So it's been a crazy few weeks. We're still settling in. If I move my camera a little bit, you'll see boxes. You'll probably see my daughters running down the stairs in a little bit. Uh, but it's it's just trying to figure out what that happy medium is. Some nights that means I'm up later than I like to be. Sometimes it's all right. My GE calls in a little early. Let me knock out something for sure. The vibes right now. And then sometimes you have to take a step away and realize you're not gonna be able to do something you want to do. Maybe I wanted to get a report done this week or some type of app or playlist done, and I just have to accept the fact that hey, it's not gonna happen right now. I gotta go be a dad. So it's a balancing game. I haven't figured it all out, but I'm working it.
That I think anybody who's considering having a type of side hustle can empathize with that, or anybody who has one. So let's go in and check in with some people. So we've got Trevor from Ontario, Canada, Kenneth, hello, Tom, Jeremy, Kinsey, who is also in. Oh wait, you said you're in Charlotte, right?
Right, right.
Okay, so she's in Charleston. We got Monica here and so many others that are joining us to listen into this topic because at the end of the day, we all want to have a life worth living.
Yeah.
And part of that is moving to where you want to live, having the flexibility to be that present parent and to chase after your dreams. And the difficult part is figuring out how to set it all up, how to juggle it all. And that's what we're here to talk to you about today. So if you have any comments, make sure you get them in the chat because I'm not sure how long my voice is going to hold up. And Devin's got a job. So we're taking some special time to be with you here today. So dive into it. When I was setting up Jolt Your Career, I didn't look at it as a business. I looked at it as a side hustle. And even though the topic of this conversation was side hustle in a corporate world, there's a difference between a side hustle and a legitimate business. Share the Vibes LLC. That's a legitimate business. So there's different things that you have to set up, potentially trademarks, um, you know, business paperwork, banking to keep your funds separate. There's just so many different aspects of starting a business. But a lot of times, a great way to start a business is by starting off by having a side hustle, doing some of that consultant 1099 work where where things aren't necessarily established yet. So that's how it started off with me. When I worked for the government, I just wrote resumes on the side, and I'm like, who would pay for this? Who would pay for that? And then throughout my career, I realized like, oh no, this is a huge need. And so how did you get started? Did it start off as a full-fledged business or did it start off more as a side hustle and then grow into a business?
It's a great question. So for me, it's kind of funny. I would say I've always loved music since I was little. My mom had me a little older, so we be riding around listening to like '70s soul R&B type stuff, or cleaner, more current music. I might have a Destiny Child CD in the car or something. So for that reason, I can listen to a lot of cussing and stuff growing up. So I didn't get to listen to a lot of albums growing up, but I always heard what was current. But when I got to Miles, which is an HBCU, Miles College down in Birmingham, I know the HBCU culture, the band and everything, and I was in band in high school. This is when I first started going to clubs and parties and stuff too. So my whole appreciation for music started to evolve, right? But once I graduated 2015, I got to Milwaukee in my career. That's when I really started listening to albums like in full, and like every week I want to know what's coming out and staying current. And probably around 2017, I just started sending out a lot of text messages when I heard stuff. I kind of became the guy who, hey, you want to know what's new, holler at Devin. Devin's going to be sending me some music Friday. I know I'm going to have some, I'm going to get a text from Devin on Friday. I'm going to know what's new and I'm going to go check it out. So I got to the point where I would hear a new song, a new album, and every time I did this, I'd probably be sending out about 15, 20 different text messages. And this got to the point I was like, all right, there has to be a better way to do this. It got tedious. And that led to me creating my Facebook group in May of 2019. And I literally, the name came to me because when you make a Facebook group, you have to make a name. I was
Yeah.
like, let's go with Share the Vibes. Boom. So I just did it. So I made a Facebook group. I think there may have been somewhere between 20 and 40 people in there starting out. And it was literally mostly people I would either been texting for the last couple of years with, hey, this is a new song, check it out. This is a new album, check it out. And now it allowed other people to do the same. So that's literally how I started. It was a way for me to take my stop texting people all these songs and just make one post in a group and everybody can see it and they can do the same thing. And then maybe a week or two later, I was in the shower. I was like, I feel like I could turn this into something. So I spent probably like the next year just like talking through my thoughts with friends, working on my business plan, all this good stuff, quote unquote, building a business. I really was just kind of procrastinating and overthinking. Then the pandemic hit where we all had to sit down. My daughter was born that May, Cinco de Mayo, actually. And then while I was on paternity leave, like when my daughter was taking a nap or something, I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to finally put some action into this. So I sat on my patio. I started typing out the business plan. And I said, all right, I got to take some action to make this real. So I got my LLC. So that's how the business came to be. I think it was July 1st, 2020, when I officially got the LLC for Share the Vibes. But it literally started as a way for me to quit sending out so many text messages with songs and albums to my friends.
I love that though. I feel like that's how entrepreneurs start. Typically an idea in the shower, right? Like and then putting action behind it. And I love how you shared that it you procrastinated. It wasn't something that you were just like, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this, because
Hmm.
not all of us can be the Elon Musk of entrepreneurship. Some of us take a little bit more time to grow into ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you
Right.
feel like you've got an itch, then go ahead and scratch it. Start putting action behind what it is you want to do. And if it doesn't go anywhere, oh well. But if it goes someplace and it can bring more joy to you, your family, the community, because any new business is there to solve a problem. It's there to capture a need that's not already being captured. And so regardless of what your business plan is, your side hustle might be, or your new idea to start a business, there's value in it. So once you started making these plans, how do you figure out the balance between marketing yourself is this as this corporate professional and marketing your entrepreneurial side? Like, is there a balance? Do you feel like there has to be a disconnect? Can you easily blend them? Like, how do you fit in with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, for one, I think you kind of have to realize that like you're not all these different people. You're one person. You're just multifaceted, right? So, Share the Vibes. It's a music and technology company. That's what it is. We do DJing, playlist curation, but we also promote STEM and STEAM education and career opportunities and Web3 and all this stuff. So, the foundation of the technology piece that came from my corporate world. Like I work in technology. I have been for 7 years now. So they kind of play off of each other in a sense because there's some commonality there. But as far as the branding goes, my headshot at work is me in a suit jacket with a shirt open button white shirt, and I look like a corporate professional. And I went to the Black Data Processing Associates conference back in August. BDPA, shout out to BDPA. And before I got there, I saw the email saying there were going to be free headshots. I said, I need me some headshots for Share the Vibes. So I literally was at the conference. I changed out of my suit. Nope, that's a lie. I took my shirt off. I put a Share the Vibe shirt on, put my jacket back on, went downstairs, took a hat on the side, and then I took my jacket off, put my hat on to the back, sat down, took a picture, and that's what you saw on the flyer today. So I know I needed to be able to send a different message for Share the Vibes because if I'm saying, hey, I can come DJ your party, you're probably not looking for the guy in the corporate's professional headshot, if they go on your flyer. So I needed to be able to say that, hey, I'm this professional guy, and even when you work with Shared Advisors, I'm still a professional. We have contracts and agreements. I'm going to meet your deadlines. I'm going to communicate with you, but I'm also a fun guy who knows how to have a good time and curate the experience that you're looking for. So it's more so tailoring the marketing to the audience and the purpose intended. Even like this is a on a LinkedIn live, and so I'm professional with how I'm wording things and what I'm saying. But it's still laid back, let you know that no, this is the more fun side of me, the passionate side of me is what you're getting. So it's not necessarily one or the other. I think there's definitely a blend of the two, but tailoring it to the audience and the specific need at hand.
I think that's such a dichotomy that people struggle with when trying to figure out how to balance their corporate leadership position and their what they enjoy doing the most, right? You have to be a little bit of a chameleon, and in one area of business you might have to show that more creative, fun side, casual, approachable, community based person, and then on the other side you might have to be a little bit more buttoned up. And a lot of the clients that I work with who are trying to figure out, do I want to leave corporate totally and do this full time? How do I blend the branding? I think that, you kind of had it spot on. Sometimes different platforms work better for different uses. So depending upon what it is that you're doing, there might be one platform you focus on one area of life, and on another platform you go hard on another area. But I do like that you're encouraging people to show that you're a well-rounded person,
Hmm.
because I mean, I have so many executives who are meditation and yoga teachers, right? And they don't show that, and I'm thinking, well, why not? The idea that you can help people calm themselves, live in a more focused, be more present. Oh, yep, there she is. That's a huge value add as a leader. The fact that you're disciplined enough to be able to study that modality. And so I think at the end of the day, it comes down to personal choice on what you feel
Yeah,
comfortable sharing with where. But the more that society encourages us to be closer to like that authentic self, even though there's lots of um, dynamics to our authenticity, right? Like as a
right.
mom and a dad, we're going to treat our children a lot different than we're going to treat our spouses or
Hmm.
our teams. And so keeping that into consideration when we're putting ourselves out there and what we're willing to share with others.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is the biggest challenge of entrepreneurship for you?
Hmm.
Oh, so for everybody tuning in, we didn't prep it all. It was just let's go on, vibe, have a conversation, see where it gets us. And so all of these is just we're just organically talking about.
Yeah. Um, the biggest challenge. Let's see. I'll start somewhere. We'll see where we end. I would definitely say kind of the time management, and figuring out how to balance it all. Right. So like we said, I work a full time job. I'm working remotely. Both of the girls are at home right now. My wife's at home right now too, cause she left her role at U.S. Bank when we moved down here, so to find something else. So I'm literally leading a home, a family, while working my full time role, while being a part of these organizations that I'm a part of, while trying to run a business too. So it's that's definitely trying to figure out the way to do all of that all at once is probably the toughest challenge. You gonna wait? You good? Huh? Is your new teacher? No, not quite. It's my friend.
Hi,
Huh?
sweetie.
Huh? You get it to you later, okay? Watch your tablet, okay? So it's like, but this is a real thing, like you're
Yeah.
seeing this live, but this happens in meetings. Like I'm talking to a dev team in Poland at 8 in the morning. So it's like, how do you manage all of that? Huh? Okay, let tell mommy.
Her voice is so precious. Is that the 2-year-old?
That's the 2 year old.
Oh, I miss
Uh,
the I miss that age, because I bet the 4-year-old's got a lot of opinions on
oh yeah.
how she's gonna have things be done.
Yep, absolutely. So like what you just witnessed is a real thing that I deal with daily. Like if I'm in calls trying to get things done, but I have to tend to, this pull up that needs to be changed. Like that's a real thing. So that gets exponentiated, when you're talking about running a business while dealing with all of that. So that's been the toughest thing for me. Especially in a year like this year where I was planning a wedding, planning my inaugural Shirt Advice festival, which I hadn't done that before, didn't know what that looked like. Building a
Your
house in a
50
new
under 50
state.
award.
Yeah, like all that's been going on. So So it's really been trying to find the time to do that, trying to find the time to still be the partner that my, my fiance then now wife needs me to be, being the father that my daughters need me to be, being the CEO that my business needs me to be, being the technical product manager that GE needs me to be. That gets challenging. But it's a great exercise in prioritization. It's a great exercise in trade-offs and sacrifice. Um, Sometimes I might have to skip the party so I can work on this playlist, or I might have to go to sleep at 3 that morning instead of getting in bed like at 11, so I can prepare for this DJ set tomorrow at Fiserv or Forever Media. And because I got to go meet Tegan tomorrow for the first time, didn't know that was going to happen. So like, no, that those types of things, you have to do. But I would say the time management piece and really trying to figure out how to balance it all and prioritize things so you're delivering at a high quality level in all of those arenas, probably the toughest challenge for me right
That has been one of the similar challenges for me, and what I think a lot of people end up coming down to. And the way that I was raised, it was very, you need to be independent. Like, this is a dog eat dog world. You need to
now.
figure it out for yourself. Although I had, like a very loving and supportive mother, she very much so raised me to be able to handle my business. And
Yep.
so becoming an entrepreneur, it's the stability. There's so much risk involved. Because I'm full. So for me, everybody, I'm full time, and I know this segment is geared towards more like juggling both, but the same things still apply. And what I found is that it's very difficult to let go of control of things when there's so much risk associated with it, right? The stakes are really
Hmm.
high when it comes down to making sure your wife feels loved and your children are being nurtured and your clients are being delivered, and the primary role that you hold at your corporate role is satisfied and you're continuing to excel there. There's a lot to juggle. And
Yeah.
and with that, at some point you got to get help. And so that was one of the most difficult things for me, is like hiring a cleaning service to come in and clean my home. I felt like a failure as a wife and a mother because I couldn't keep my house clean. And then it came to a point like, okay, well, my husband's not doing it. My son's not helping. Like, okay, come on, come on in, team. Let's get it done. I mean, to little things like that, where it's, yeah, you got to budget that in, but the time it saves you, the time it gives you
Yeah.
back to doing what you enjoy doing most. I'm moving. I was supposed to move last week, and now I'm moving in 2 weeks. And the same thing, hiring movers to be closer to family so I can have some
Hmm.
more support with my 4-year-old son, because there's going to be times when his school might be closed, or in our case, I don't know what it's like for everybody else, but where I'm moving to, we've been on this wait list to get him into
Mm,
school, like preschool, for a year, and I still have to wait another 6 months. That's insane. So
yeah.
for anybody who's juggling a side hustle or starting a full-time business and that has a family, there's additional layers there where you need some support with childcare, with the housework, even with business work, having somebody else manage your books, or getting somebody to do your social media campaigns, or whatever it is. And that time management, yes, I struggled with, but sometimes the fixes are easy. It's just having to drop your ego and societal norms of, well, you're going to be less than as a mother if
Mm,
someone else, if you don't sign up, to go on the field trip.
yeah.
It's like, well, shoot, if I don't sign up to go on the field trip, I can pay my mortgage next month. And so those things are tricky. And I would love to hear anybody else's perspective on the things that they've been through, because it's hard. Let's see what we got here. It says, I love how Devin is talking about time management as his kids walk in. Kudos to just rolling with it. The kids are so cute.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we live for our families,
Yeah.
right? And even if we don't have a family yet, whatever your version of a fulfilled life is maybe it's like just traveling, solo traveling the world or whatever.
Right.
Like, then like you got to figure out a way to go for it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we're coming up close to time, and I know my voice is going to be shot. So What would your advice be to somebody who's got an idea and has been procrastinating, but they feel like they don't know where to go? What would be some actionable steps that you can give them, to see if maybe they can make a thing out of it?
Yeah, I think my first actionable step I would recommend is to literally write it down. For me, I had all these thoughts and I was talking to people, and then one day I think I either wrote it down in like a journal type thing, like a notebook, or I just started putting my thoughts into my notes section in my phone. But I remember when I did that, and I was telling one of my friends about it. He say, "Now that you've written it down, doesn't it seem far more attainable?" So yeah, because you've literally taken it from your intangible mind and made it a tangible thing that you can touch and feel and look at, and like it's okay, all right. So all right, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and then you can start to reverse engineer a plan. So I literally write it down to everyone. Like write it down, journal if you don't. I need to do it more often, but write it down, please. Write it, even if it sounds crazy. Like you want $1 billion by the end of the year, just write it down. And maybe you land on 1 million. That's not a bad place to end. So yeah, write it down. First thing. Secondly, I would say kind of reverse engineer that plan if you can, but even smaller than that, just figure out like maybe 1 to 3 just small actionable things you can do. Like so for me, I wrote my plan down. I said, okay, I need to do something tangible. I'm gonna go get my LLC. I think it's about $150, give or take. So I'm gonna go into the website, fill it out, and I'm gonna get that. So now I have a tangible piece of something that say, all right, now I have a real business. Like it something starts to click in your head. It's like, all right, well now I got a business, I gotta do something. Um, so write it down, figure out just very small, actionable things you can do. And your action step might be I wrote my business description down in my business plan today. Tomorrow I'm going to write down who my target audience is. And you do that, it's small, but it's just it makes a difference because you did something. Um, then lastly, I say go for it. So we talking about small actionable steps, but like if you believe in something, you have an idea, go for it and don't be afraid to fail. That's how Share the Vibes Fest ended up happening this year, which we haven't talked much about. But in June, I held my inaugural Share the Vibes Music and Technology Festival in Milwaukee. My goal, I wanted to get about 100 people out, and I wanted live performances. I wanted the technology aspect in there, and I wanted people to have a good time. So we ended up having about 6 live performances from Milwaukee musical artists. We had Web3 workshops that morning, led by the Milky Way Tech Hub with Nadia Johnson, teaching people about NFTs and the metaverse. We had J Thompson and Audio Mogul Media coordinate a live podcast that day, and we had our podcasting room set up for people to talk throughout the day. Had Black business vendors in there, so literally people could talk to a real estate agent there at the festival, get sunflower organic products. We had Free Spirits cocktails there with the drinks, food vendors. So I pulled all this together, and people were like, "Man, who is this? How does he do this?" But it literally was like in the back of my mind, I've been saying, I kind of want to do a festival one day. And I think last summer, somebody just kind of drunkenly asked me, "So, Share the Vibes Fest, when does that happen?" I had no idea I'd been thinking about it. So I'm actually thinking about that. I think I mentioned it to Nadia maybe like in November, and she was like, "Yes, just do this. I'll help you do it." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it."
She's a powerhouse to get it done.
Yes. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I put together a team like you talked about earlier. I knew I needed help. That's the thing. I get a team. Get a team of people that you trust. Get a team. I put together a committee and we planned it out. We talked through what could be possible. Talked through options. I don't think any of us had really hosted a festival before. I think Nadia had. Um, but just walked through what we wanted to be and we went for it. And I said, hey, even if it flops, even if I don't make any money, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna learn something and then we can come back and make it better next time. So write it down, figure out some small wins, small things you can do. Um, take action, just do something, take the action, and get a team to help you do it.
I love it. I mean, that is the exact blueprint on figuring out how to do it. And so, for all of those of you who tuned in today, thank you so much. Don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us if you just want some support or want links to references that helps us out. Make sure to use all the resources that are out there to help people like us get to the next step that we want to do. Don't jeopardize your current role. So, you know, if you think that you're treading on any type of water, make sure you go in and do the paperwork that you need to do just to cover your butt, because you will find out as a business owner, covering your butt is important.
Yep.
And find good people to vibe with and to support you, because at the end of the day, the relationships that we have are going to help us take our vision to life. So with that, Devin, thank you so much for being a guest today. Congratulations on everything. I mean, you've been crushing it all year long. I know everybody's so proud of you. You've got so many people in the tuning in, showing you so much love in the middle of the workday. So you know that's special. And then, yeah, let me know how I can help out with the next conference. I'd be happy to come in, and I don't know. I'm good at writing resumes, right? So maybe I can help with something like that. And but
Yeah,
we'll
there's a
see. We'll
lane
talk
for it.
about it.
Absolutely. We absolutely will.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and push this button, because there is a lag from when we stop talking to when the live actually ends. But Devin, again, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will be in touch. Everybody else, I will see you next week, where we were going to be talking about the benefits of transferable skills and leveraging LinkedIn learning. So I will see you
Good
all soon. Bye.
It doesn't